Hello and welcome back to another episode of Skids and Donuts, where today we're tackling a small but very important rust issue which if left untreated could have made my door fall off. So the door panel is off already. Let me show you what the actual issue is. So you see the bottom hinge down there. I don't know how well you can see that. But let's look from the inside. This is where the hinge mounts up. Can you see that? That's what needs to be, well, you can't even replace it. It needs welding, a new panel mount plate put in, and then the hinge can go back on. Great. So the basics of getting this door off, we've got to take the panel off, which we've already done. It's just, standard procedure. And then I've had to take out these cables. Now these are, so this one is for the power window, I believe. I believe this one's for the door lock. And if I'm guessing correctly, that is for the speaker. We'll find out in a minute once we take all of this off. But so far, so good. Might be able to take a look at this motor whilst we're in here as well. Or replace the wiring in it at least, to see if we can get this to run, like, go up and down a lot smoother. There's one. So this one is the speaker wire, which isn't, it's not an amazing cable, but it does the job. We can replace that cable at any point we want. It's a really easy cable to do. And then last but not least, I think I saw one more. Yeah, I did. Which is for the door switch and regulator for the window. Carefully pull it out. There we go. Cable's done. It should be now a case of just whipping off a couple bolts, and off comes the door. So now all of the cables are out. We've got a couple bolts at the top and a couple at the bottom. I'll get the ones from the inside because that's where I need to do all the welding, as well as, well, a panel on the outside, and then remake some of that on the inside, and then stick it all back together. And then if I take this one off last, as this is the one currently holding the door on properly, we should be okay. I'll get a jack under it as well, just in case, but you know what? I don't think it'll be too bad. There we go, and the door comes apart, like so. Oh, heavy old beast that is. And now we can see the damage. It's not bad at all, really. So we'll cut this out here, and then I think we might need to take the fender or wing, or whatever you call it. We need to take that off, but it's spot welded in the front, so maybe if we take a few of these bolts out and we can just bend it out the way a little. So the fender's actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. So I've taken off a screw up here from the inside, a screw from there. You can also do it from there as well, but I figured this lines up, keeps like the body lines straight. And then behind the mud flap there was one more screw, and most of it's off. And looking at it, I need just a smidge more to cut that out properly and make sure it's not gone further up. So I think if we have a look under here, we take off a couple of the bolts down there. You see how they're all lined up here? I reckon, yeah, so there's one there, just a couple of these, and then we'll see what happens. Right, so taken off all the bolts here, but it's spot welded in the front. I don't know where the rest of the bolts are. So that's my approach, and that should be enough space for an angle grinder and a wire wheel to chop that bit out and weld in a new plate. I'm holding the fender with my leg because if that screwdriver pings off and then catches this, I'm finished. So the reason people always say when you're cutting rust out, you want to grind away like about an inch-ish away from where you can see the rust, just to see if it's spread. And you can see that's why you do it. I think I could see this bit up here. I could see like the big part of it, but I couldn't see the little holes that were covered by the underseal here. What I want to do is cut a square out, keep it as square as possible, then we can trace these parts here. We can trace where we've cut out, and then we should be able to get a perfect match for the replacement patch panel that we put in. Should be good. We'll find out. So, annoyingly, I managed to get it out. I was recording, and I've even damaged the back of my phone from the sparks. But it turns out it didn't record. I don't know why. Whatever. So you didn't see me cutting this out, which is annoying, because I did quite a good job. I did the best job I've ever done. Anyway, this is the thicker steel I was talking about. It's like a plate. You can see it's all delaminated on this side, which isn't good. But we have our template, so we can trace this onto some metal now, and then we can trace these holes out, and then hopefully will be good. I'll try and find some kind of way to make a backing plate, whether we use the same kind of steel and, I don't know, double up as like big washers. Other than that, that's the damage. And you can see on the inside as well, these little support brackets, they're not off yet. This one's about to fall off, so we'll try our best to remake them. We'll have to weld this plate back in, and then we'll have to try and get this panel and weld this back on, but we might need to remake that as well. We'll see how far we get. Alright, so this is how easy it actually is. This is the same thickness steel as the actual sheet metal on the car. We've got the old cut. Traced out the outlines. Get the squares on the inside. And that's it. I've already left a gap on this side, you know, about a mil. And then when we cut this, we'll cut just outside of the line, because when you use an angle grinder, it'll start melting a lot of that metal. And obviously the angle grinder blade is about that thick, so you're going to lose that much material. So you want to cut on the outside a bit, and it's better to have too much when you go to weld than too little. If you've got too much, you can always trim it down very carefully. If you've got too little, you'll have to start again. And you can see where I've been practicing some basic TIG welding, which I wasn't very good at. We have only got a flux core MIG welder, or a gasless MIG, however you call it. They are harder to use on like thin sheet metal, just because you can't really get a good temperature control. So we do run a risk of melting through if we're holding the weld on too long. So we're not going to do, you know, a bead of weld. We're going to do tack welds all the way around until it's fully covered. So you'll start in the top right corner, then bottom left, top right, bottom left. So do that to let it cool down enough, so then we're not risking warping the metal and then blowing through the metal, which is what that is there, where you blow a hole right through it, because then you're kind of at square one again. And then you'll panic, you'll try and weld that hole too fast, and then you'll make a bigger hole. So we're going to do it very slowly and very carefully. And we've got no choice now, because I've already cut that off. So I have to do it. Otherwise, my door's not going back on today. Okay, so it fits pretty okay at the minute. You can see where I made a small error up there, but that's small enough. I should be able to do like a sort of jump weld, but the rest of it, tack it all into place, tidy up the bits where I cut too much, that again, weld that. But it's looking pretty good. Again, we just need to figure out this thick piece, and I do have some thick metal. So there is the finished plates. As you can see, I've made a small error in a couple of areas, but we should be able to tack weld those properly and nicely. Drilled out some holes. The galvanization's been, you know, rubbed off. Not rubbed off, you know, scratched off. This part, the thick metal piece, I've got this, which is a jacking point for a 240, but not this 240. So I've had it. I think this was in my first ever video on this Volvo. Yeah, annoying, but it is what it is. Except it saved my ass this time because it's a perfect fit. My only job is to cut a thick enough piece out, like that, and then the annoying bit is going to be drilling 2 holes. That's going to be tough because it's quite thick steel and my drill bits are not the best in the world. That took a while to do, and that's thin sheet metal, so we'll work with what we got. I'll try and nip this out, and then we've got a nice structural plate there, and yeah, slap it all together. Happy days. Right, so this is the support bracket we've made. Now we'll replace this one here. So the plan is to weld that onto there, like so, and then we've got a solid piece which will go into the car there. So we're going to crack on with that now, get it done. So I've got some unpaid manual labour. We're currently trying to drill out the holes for the replacement of that. So I managed to use the old jack, well, the old jacking point slash new part. And we've essentially remade this. Hopefully we can drill those holes out very slowly. I invested in some definitely non-expensive cobalt bits, so we can start stepping that up. This is the piece we've made. It should pretty much match up to the old one. It's going to go in that way, like so. And then we're going to tack it in and then do the little spot welds all the way around. So let's get to it. Need to pry this out a little bit. Oh. What I'll get you to do if you want, so it's tacked in, you've seen how fucking strong it is if here with a hammer, but if you tack in here and then do a little tack there, let it cool, do a little tack there, sort of do it in a square, that should stop the metal from warping. Yeah. We're letting Mr. Crashed MR2 have a go at welding. Looking spiffy, my guy. We'll see how well he does. We've got him on the test pieces already. You can see the panic sitting in. So anywhere you see there's no weld already, just do a little tack weld. I shouldn't have looked directly into that then.
Did you look it?
I did. I blinded myself. And then do the bottom left corner. So we're going to go ahead, get that tacked in properly, and then we should be able to line up the door and see how well that fits. You know, mate, they say when you're welding, if you can smell toast, it means the back of your eyeballs are burning. The problem is, I'm cooking toast. Alright, for his first time welding, what do you think? For your first ever time, mate, I will give you a 6.5. It's good enough.
Alright, does the job.
For who it's for. And a test. Passes.
Now we've got to see whether the door lines up.
It absolutely will not. It ain't. Just ain't. But that's done. Clean it up and paint it. The little washer thing. Tried salvaging it. See how well it lasts. But overall, pretty good. And then hopefully, yes, that will line up nicely. Probably not. Let's find out. How well is the alignment actually? So, for kind of eyeballing it, we just need to drill slightly bigger holes. The original holes were bigger. I think it's for alignment purposes, but if we draw those out now to a 10mm circumference, we should be golden. Right, we've re-drilled those holes, we just made them slightly bigger. We're going to close the door now for the first time and hope that the latch actually latches. Perfect.
Close again.
Doesn't seem to be rubbing or anything, which is good.
And you've got plenty of space
At the top. Actually, to be fair, look at the top bit. That's pretty good.
It's pretty close actually. I'm not touching on anything there. It was a scuff off of the drill.
Yeah. It's pretty light. It's slightly off there.
It is slightly.
I can live with that. I can absolutely live with that. Oh, dude. Hell yeah. Can I see the awkward way these go back on?
Go on, man. Oh, I knew there was going to be something funny about it.
Anyway, if you did enjoy this video, click that subscribe button and I'll catch you again in the next video.